Welcome back. We're doing question 7 of the 2022 paper. Amy and Joe are asked to pick values for the numbers P, Q and R so that the following is true for all base A that are real numbers. Amy picked 3 values that were all the same, so P is equal to Q is equal to R. Write down the value of P, Q and R that Amy picked. Okay, so what value could Amy pick so that all the powers are the same, so that when the number is added to itself 3 times we get 12. Okay, so you should be able to get this by inspection. If you can't, you can say that the Q and the R are P, so you could think it's A to the power of P times A to the power of P times A to the power of P, and then you can add the PP and the P to get A is equal to the 3P, because that's the product rule, the top rule here. You can also do it as a power of a power rule where it's A to the P to the 3. You still get A to the 3P is 12 is A to the 12, and then you get 3P equals 12 and P equals 4. But the hope would be you consider answering this by inspection. What number, when you add it to itself 3 times, gives 12? That's all it is. It doesn't need algebra. Joe picked 3 values that were all different, and that's the only thing about Joe. He ends up getting 12 as well. So this is what we call an open-ended question. I have never seen an open-ended question in your textbook. Open-ended question. Okay, which is why I tried to bring them into class and into instruction. So what is an open-ended question? It's a question for which there is many answers, maybe an infinite number of answers. In this case, there's an infinite number of answers if we allow negatives or fractions. But let's keep it simple and use positive counting numbers. Let's use positive integers, or in other words, natural numbers. So we really can't go wrong here. We do want to, if we're avoiding negatives, we want to stay well below 12. Let's just start somewhere and work our way up. Let's go with 2. Let's prefer even numbers because they're easier to do arithmetic with. Then go to 4, and let's just take a running total now. We have 6, so we have 6 to go. Okay, there are many more answers. But just think to yourself, when you are making up, use a strategy that makes you keeping track of things simple, like stick with even numbers if you can, like I did there. Okay, so just double checking here, this is A to the 12, and we have 6 and 4 and 2 certainly adds to 12. Okay, now we're moving on to this bit here. Oh, by the way, just on the marking scheme, those collectively are worth 10, so far we've got 10 out of 10, and then the next part is only worth 5 despite its difficulty. So we'll apply the top rule here, which says we can add the m to the negative 2, getting b to the m minus 2 over b is equal to b to the 10, and then we can go to the next rule down, which is b to the 1. The 1 is understood. If there isn't a power there, it's power 1. And this tells us that instead of having a b to the 1 at the bottom, it can come up and become b to the minus 1, or indeed this can just become a minus 1. This 1 here can become a minus 1 here. We'll do that in the next line. B to the m minus 2 minus 1 is equal to b to the 10. Okay, now simplifying this, we have b to the m minus 3 equals b to the 10. Now once you get to this stage, there's a very important thing to note, and that is that with the same base, the powers must be equal if they're equal. Okay, because b is a growing function. Okay, when you're powering, you're just taking a power, you're getting an exponential curve that keeps increasing, and there's only one way it can happen if you have the same base. They have to be the same numbers. So we say m minus 3 equals 10. Okay, and so m equals 13. I'm going to double check my work there. I think we're right. We're going to check. Okay, let's mark ourselves as we started to do. It's a good habit. It's reassuring. and it'll pick up any systematic mistakes. You don't want your teacher making mistakes now, do you? So picking up that, checking that, and there are no mistakes on this one. They've said that P, Q and R is for any triple of real numbers that adds to 12, and where all three are different. And then they come up with, a pretty obscure one in that it used negatives and fractions and zero, but we're good on all of them. So the main thing is we got 13 and 4, and then, as I said, open-ended problem questions have an infinite number of answers. Okay, so that's 15 marks out of 15 marks, as always. I'll see you in the next one, which will be question 8, 2022.